Welcome back. Now this week I'm going to look at another piece of functionality to go with the list that we've already got. So far we have anagrams, where a piece of the clue or a substituted word is scrambled, put into the answer. We've got trimming, where you can cut a letter off one end or the other and put that into the answer. Reversing, where a piece of the clue is put backwards or a piece of substitution is put backwards. First and last letters, where you take the first and last letters of a piece of the clue, put them in the answer. And the single letters, usually vowels, that will substitute for themselves, so they'll drop straight from the clue into the answer. We're going to add one to this list, so let's have a look at an example clue. Quickly passing insect said to attack headlessly. 8 letters. Quickly passing insect said to attack headlessly. Now you've got no instant indication of definition. There's no this, is this, equals that. Remember, we're talking about the equal sign principle. Not really obvious. So you have to start looking for what might be functionality and then work out where your definition lies. Headlessly, you could well have a synonym for that. 8-letter word for that could be your answer. But with to attack headlessly, it looks an awful lot like it might be doing this, like it might be trimming the first letter. Headlessly meaning without its head, its first letter. That's, if you remember that one, that's how loose that piece of definition is. So you're thinking that headlessly might be acting on these words, attack, to attack, said to attack, possibly, but it's an outside chance. And that's functionality, then your definition has to be at the other end. So, given that passing doesn't appear to really do anything on this list, passing doesn't really mean piece of functionality, passing insect wouldn't make much sense, you're fairly sure that passing and quickly must be going together. And if functionality is down here, definition has to be at the other end. You can be fairly sure that's the word, that's the answer, that's the word you're looking for. So then you've got this to play with. Headlessly meaning take the first letter off of this. It's quite likely it's only going up to there because said to attack headlessly, so said to attack would have to be a word in itself which you then remove the first letter from, and said to attack, can't really see what that would mean. So to attack, lots of synonyms for that. Take the first letter off one of them, you'll have part of your answer, which leaves you with this bit. But the best thing to do is to work the bit that you think you've got. So you go through lots of synonyms for attack, storm, surge, maul, savage, stuff like that. Eventually, and this is where the theme for once isn't misleading but actually helps you out. Because you're thinking about insects, you might eventually, or quite quickly, get to the word sting. Insect attacks you, it stings you. To attack headlessly, no head on it, T-I-N-G, which is looking, because the parts of speech have to agree, so quickly passing, a word ending T-I-N-G, it's looking good. So you'll think you're on the right track. Which leaves you with this. Now, this is the new piece of functionality because this word said means sounds like. So that's the new bit. And what that means is that the word for insect will be misspelled. It will sound like the name of an insect but be written differently. So you run through your insects. You start thinking ant, bee, spider, and then eventually you get to flea. That's how you normally spell flea, but because this is said, you can spell it double E, fleeting, quickly passing. So insect, flea, sounds like, meaning spell it differently. To attack headlessly, sting with no S, fleeting, quickly passing. So that is how the sounds likes work. But there are a number of things that can perform this role. So anything that basically indicates sound rather than writing, because that's what that really means. It means it's said, not written. So you'll see things like on the radio quite commonly. And if you sit looking for a synonym for on the radio when it really means the word next to it is spelt wrong in the answer, you get stuck for a long time. So on the radio, on air, in speech, spoken, heard, vocalized, anything like that. We hear, you'll see quite a lot. Something, something, we hear. And that will mean that something something is spelt incorrectly in the answer. The only one to watch out for is the word say, which can have a couple of other functions, but we'll come to them at another time. But it certainly can do this job, in the sense that a lot of things can. So yes, anything that indicates sound rather than writing. So broadcast I've seen, because once again, it's broadcast in the very traditional sense of being broadcast by sound. So crosswords being invented back in the day, there was no visual broadcasting, so I think that's a hangover from there. But broadcast on the radio, on air, spoken, heard, stuff like that can all mean one of the words next to it will have a synonym in the answer which is misspelled. Flee, flee. So yes, look out for the sounds likes, add it to the list, and happy solving.